Welcome to another episode of Jim's Allotment Garden. Okay, so just do a quick tour so you can see what's going on. Now the greenhouse is growing like Billy. There's not a lot of light getting through now because of the grapevine and the tomatoes and the cucumbers and stuff growing up. They're absolutely incredible the way it's grown over the past couple of weeks. So the tomatoes are doing really well, as you can see, absolutely laden with fruit. These are the Rainbow F1, and then these are the Moneymaker, as you can see. Doing really nicely, looking really healthy all round. And then over here we've got these are the Garden's Delight. So they're still sort of forming really, but you can see sort of tomatoes everywhere really, all up here as well. And I've let these grow right up to the top of the greenhouse. So as soon as I got to the top of the stick here, I've let them grow further on up to the top. The grapevine's had a real spurt on over the past few weeks, and it's thrown out all of these runners, which I'm leaving for now. But I have trimmed a few back. Come a bit further back here. Obviously, these are the Alicante tomatoes, so there's loads of them growing all over the place. I have done a reasonable amount of trimming down with the tomatoes, and I've started heavily feeding them now. So I've taken off a few of the leaves at the bottom just to clear. I've obviously put the other windrow over there, then if you can see it, to give that bit of ventilation through the greenhouse. And I've also got this windrow at the back now, which has helped immensely with the ventilation inside the greenhouse. The chilies are doing really well, as you can see. Got some nice chilies forming on there. This is the chili pepper hot lemon, and as you can see, we've got some nice fruits forming on there. Now what I have done with these is over the past 3 weeks I've started to heavily feed them, and that's why, you know, there's such a sudden, if you can remember, this plant was suffering a little bit. All of these side shoots have grown since I've potted it up, and it's formed a lot, you know, sort of better formed bush now, and there's kind of chili peppers coming up all over it. These are the jalapeno chili plants, as you can see. We've got sort of flowers on this. This is a tall one, which is why it's there. These have got jalapeno chilies on all around there and on there as well. You can see between that, and there's some around the back as well that you can't quite see. And on this side we've got a similar story, where you know, plenty of flowers on there, and it's just starting to form chili peppers. As you can see, we've got one sort of just starting to form there. So chilies are doing really well. And this is the ginger. Oh, sorry Dorothy, this is the ginger. And as you can see, that's now shooting up quite nicely. And so we've got basically 5 shoots that have come through so far. As you know, I put in quite a few pieces in there, so I'm expecting a few. Oh, there you go, there's another one there, it's just coming up. So I'm expecting a few more to come up in the next few weeks. But you know, the gingers most certainly started to come through now. So that's the greenhouse. They're that's the second lot of broccoli or calabrese. But I've had a beetle in here, and it's nibbled away at the leaves. There's no sign of any caterpillars or anything like that. Or is that one there? Little teeny one there. I don't know if that's... Yes, it is. There's a little teeny caterpillar on it. I thought it was beetles doing this. I couldn't find any caterpillars the other day, but so they've nobbled them, and these ones up here that weren't potted on, they've been nobbled as well on the end. So fuchsia cuttings, to be honest with you, they were in here and they got a bit hot one day, and I forgot to water them, so they ran dry. So I've lost these ones at the end, but these ones here are most certainly doing all right. So I'll get 5 plants out of there, so that'll be enough for me. So that's the greenhouse. Outside here we've got the outside tomatoes, and you can see they're doing pretty well. Nowhere near as big as the ones inside, but nevertheless they are doing really well. Just moving around here, this is the Birdhouse Gourd, and what I've done is I've put some additional wire along this fence here, and I'm now kind of training it, but it wants to kind of go that way, so I'm having to keep pulling it back and sort of tying it back onto the mesh on there. On this side again, I've done the same kind of thing. Now I believe a lot of these flowers that I'm getting, like this one here that's fell off, is actually a male flower, because there doesn't seem to be any kind of fruit behind it. However, I was looking the other night, and there are, most certainly towards the end, some different flowers forming. Now, I don't know if anybody can advise me, but I think you get male and female flowers on these, and I believe the ones I'm getting at the bottom are the male flowers, and I'm hoping to get some obviously female flowers further up. But I've not got any gourds starting to form as of yet, but as you can see, that one's trading all the way to there now, so that's grown really well, and this one's growing the opposite way. So I'm watering them also with the juice from the comfrey to give them that boost in potassium to to get them to grow and to form flowers and stuff. Also obviously potash as well. The mint, the rosemary, and the thyme and the oregano is all doing really well. The oregano's gone into flower now, which it normally does this time of year, but so that's doing all right. This is the ochre. As you can see, the ochre's doing pretty well, as are the weeds around it. The amount of weeds that I've got in the allotment at the minute is absolutely phenomenal. Last weekend I actually filled 10 wheelbarrows full of weeds, and I didn't get half of them out, I don't think, but I spent almost a day and a half taking weeds out last week. But the colour's really filling out now, as you can see. It's all kind of fell over and it's all sort of filling this. I do need to get in there and get these sort of few weeds out in there, but that's doing all right. This comfrey I really do need to cut it down, but the bees have been on it again, so now the flowers are finished. The bees have started on the one over the back, which you'll see in a minute. So I need to chop all this out now and put that in the bin now. The others rotted down. The chives, really, I need to cut them down and let them have a second flourish, to be honest with you. So what I'm going to do is just chop them off with some scissors, or what I'll probably do is chop half of them off so I can still use some from the others, and let them sort of grow through again. The raspberries are almost finished now, or at least the summer ones are. There are still some, and the bees are still loving them. You can see these are the yellow ones still forming. These are the yellow ones here. The yellow ones are really nice. Not quite so strong tasting, but nice nevertheless. Well, I've got this problem. Excuse me. I've got this problem with bindweed on them, and I don't really know quite how to get around it. I've been spraying it with weed killer and pulling it out and stuff, but I just don't seem to be able to dent it. It's also got into the strawberries as well, but I do need to find a way of just killing this stuff off altogether. I may need to resort to sort of non-organic means to do that, but I've tried to dig it out. I've tried to put weed killer on it, and really I'll knock it back a little bit, but within a few weeks it's back again, and it's left its own devices. It's covering everything, so it's most certainly a problem for me at the moment, but I'll work on that. The other Birdhouse Gourd plants are here, not quite as good. There's one there, and there's one here, and as you can see, they're just starting to take off now. So it's just grabbed hold to this wire here, so it'll start to work its way up now. So I've been watering and feeding them every night as well, but they are most certainly behind the one that's at the back there. Now the potatoes, this is where the majority of the weeds come out. As you can see, there are still a few dotted about, but this was kind of up here with weeds. It was kind of 4 foot high, so I pulled all the weeds out, and obviously all the potato plants just kind of fell over at that point. And I've left the tops on for now. There's no signs of any blight, but we have had a couple of downpours of rain over the past few days, so I most certainly need to keep my eye on the potatoes for blight. I can't see any evidence of it yet, so I'm leaving the tops on to get the best out of the potatoes. And obviously with this water that we've had, this rain that we've had, they should the potatoes should swell up a little bit more, hopefully. So anyway, that's the potatoes. The beans, we've been having plenty of beans, as you can see here. There's still plenty to come. I need to pick some more off here. As you can see, all of these here, these are all ready to pick. But these have frozen really well. I've already frozen 3 kilos of these, and they're doing really well. Up here I've done quite a bit of weeding, but the weeds have come back. This is the not the mashua. What is this? It'll come to you in a minute. I'll put it on the bottom of the screen. I've weeded all of these out, and they have started to grow a bit better. I've been watering them and that, and so they are starting to grow a bit better. But actually on the label for these it said that they can get to 1 metre across, and obviously these are nowhere near 1 metre, so I'm not quite sure what to do. I have been feeding them with liquid feed as well. They've had nitrogen, phosphorus and potash, and potassium, nitrogen, and well, basically everything. You know, they've had a balance of nutrients, but they don't seem to be kind of taking off. So not quite sure why, but you know, they've got everything they need and they've been watered, but they don't seem to have grown anywhere near as much as I was expecting them to. But anyway, they were an experiment. So sweet peas have done really well, but with this dry weather they have gone over quite quickly. I have been watering them, but there's loads of seeds all over, so what I need to do is get up here and cut all these seeds off before the whole plant sort of goes over. But they are still growing, and as you can see there are still plenty of blooms coming and sort of developing at the moment. But they have been really nice this year, the sweet peas have. They have been really good. In the first brassica cage, again loads of weeds. We've had quite a lot of broccoli this week, so I've been cutting away at the broccoli, and this one here has gone to seed, but the rest I've been able to pick, and there are still more coming. The kale, the Scottish kale, and the kale at the back there, they've been growing really well, and as you can see, you know, they're sort of taking over the fence really. We've had some of the Aztec broccoli at the back this week, and that was very nice. And so yeah, everything's growing, you know, sort of quite nicely. But you know, the weeds have just sort of taken over a bit really. But I think it has been the year of the weeds. Right then, moving around here, the onions are basically ready to pull up now. As you can see, they've all died back. This is where I had that fungal problem. And they have died back. The actual onions themselves are fine, but they've, you know, the onions have now ripened in the ground, which is what I was after. So what I'm going to do is dig these up, and the way to do that is basically get the fork underneath them, and then just loosen the soil up and pull them out. But don't sort of grab them like this and pull them out without loosening the ground, because what you want is you want to keep the roots on the onion, and then let the onion roots dry whilst they turn upside down, and that will make the onions a lot better tasting, you know, for later on. But there are some reasonable sized ones, you know, they're not too bad, but obviously I can't grow onions here now for a few years. But anyway, that's what the onions look like. So not too bad, but I'll show you how to tie all these up and you know, sort of dry them and stuff over the next couple of weeks. So I'll be planning to get these up next week, and then leaving them to dry for a few weeks, and then I'll put them into strings. The parsnips are doing really well. They're really starting to form nice heads now. Unfortunately, at the far end there, the butternut squash plant's starting to take over. I have actually cut some out because it was into the mashua there, but I've pulled that out and sort of pushed it over, and I've taken a few branches off because it was kind of taking over everything. What I might need to do is cut that bit back as well there, so it's not overtaking the parsnips or the beetroot. But I think I can pick the beetroot, but the parsnips obviously going to be in the ground till sort of the autumn really, so I need to cut them back a bit or pull them out of the way. The leeks aren't doing too badly. I've got a few that have failed, if you can see them through the weeds. The leeks are the tall ones, these bits here. So what I need to do is get these weeded and put some spares in. I've got some more leeks to go in there anyway, so I'll put some in where the space is, and do that in the next couple of weeks. These are the swede, and as you can see, that beetle's had a go at the leaves on here, but they are growing quite well, much better than the others. So I'll be weeding these through this week when I get 5 minutes, and sort of tidying them up. I may need to thin them out as well, but anyway, they're doing quite well. This is where we've just planted the various things. So I've got some more swede in this row here, then I've got a row of turnip, and then I've got 2 rows of beetroot in there. That just needs a bit of water later on, but so they're all in now. The rhubarb is dying back now, as you can see, but what it'll do is it'll die back a little bit further, and then it'll come back again in sort of next month, and this'll a whole new fresh load of growth will come in sort of the next 4 weeks. So I'll show you that when it comes. In here we got the spinach. Along here again, loads of weeds. I have weeded this out a number of times, but still, we've got plenty of weeds everywhere. And this is the rest of the Scottish kale, which is doing really well. Okay, and coming around the front, you can see all the calendulas are still doing well. I do need to pull the seed pods off. Sunflowers are doing pretty well. They're not quite forming heads yet, but they have grown and really thickened out. I put this framework up just to support them a little bit more in the wind, but I'm expecting these to get to, I don't know, about 6, 7, 8 foot in the next few weeks. So that's the calendulas. Round here, the courgette plants, as you can see, are taking over the path. As you can see, the courgettes are doing pretty well. There's plenty growing under there, so I do need to pick some of those for tonight's tea. But I need to fight my way through the weeds. Now in here we've got these are the pumpkins, as you can see. We've got some really nice pumpkins coming in, so they're quite pale and yellow at the moment. As you can see through the foliage, there's one more over there, if you can see just there. So there's plenty of pumpkins coming beneath all of this, but it has just gone absolutely berserk. You can see how they're growing. It's just one absolute massive plant here. And over here is the butternut squash plants. There's another pumpkin there. Look. So what I need to do with the pumpkins is put a piece of wood underneath them, just to sort of support them up off the ground. That's another pumpkin there, you can see, and that little one forming over there. And then these, I don't know if you can see that coming over there, there's 2 butternut squashes over there, and there's loads of them over here as well. That's another pumpkin there. So the pumpkin plants have just gone absolutely balmy, they're everywhere. The runner beans are doing really well. Again, I need to pick a load of these. As you can see, the rain that we've had over the past few days has really brought them on. We've got plenty of runner beans growing everywhere, so what I'll do is I'll pick all of these in one go, chop them all up, and then I'll blanch and freeze them to eat over the winter. Okay, so I need to sort of get up here and sort of get all these off and out of the way. This is the side of the potatoes. As you can see, I'll be starting to dig the potatoes up in the next. Well, I most certainly won't be buying any more potatoes now for a while. So what I'll do is start to dig these up as I need them. When we get to the back end of sort of September, that's when I'll dig them all out and bag them up when it's a bit cooler. And this is the strawberry patch, and again you can see all the bindweed in there. So what I need to do is clear all this out and sort of get rid of all the bindweed that's sort of grown everywhere. I need to get this net off as well because it's growing through the net, and just sort of clean this up. And those are the 2 windows I've just recently put in the greenhouse, which you've seen on the 2 episodes, Pimp My Greenhouse. So that's what the allotment looks like at the minute. As you can see, there's plenty of wildlife. We've got butterflies, bees, they're everywhere. It's a real haven of wildlife up here. And the comfrey's just now come back into flower, so that's attracting the bees as well, so they're really enjoying that. And the comfrey, which we chopped down and put into here, as you can see, is rotted down quite nicely. So what I can do now is siphon off the juice from in there, or what juice is left in there, for fertiliser for the greenhouse, and then I'll put the rest of the comfrey on top of that, and then that can rot down in there, or break down in there should I say, and then I can get the juice off there. But that's what the allotment looks like at the end of July. Okay, so just a quick update on the chickens. What I've done is I've brought ruby and rhubarb in here, and as you can see, what I've got is like a separate box which I can get to them in. They are on separate food at the moment. They're on the growers' pallets, where the rest of the chickens are on egg layers pallets. So these are obviously the full-grown chickens, and they're on the egg layers pallets, which have got a lot more calcium in there to make the eggshells, where the growers' pallets have got more protein, for growing the chickens on. And it is distinctly different food. So if you are sort of rearing chicks, then you do need their food. So they start off with what's called a mash, which is a very fine, they're not pellets, it looks more like porridge, sort of dry porridge mix. So they have that for the first few weeks, and then they go into this growers pellets, and they're on that. Well, they're just about to come over onto the egg layers pellets in the next couple of weeks. But as you can see now, they've got their full. Come down here, so get rid of the. As you can see, they've got their full set of feathers now, and they're looking a lot more like adult chickens. Obviously, they're still quite small compared to what they will be when they're finished. Obviously, when they're finished, they'll be slightly taller, about the same kind of build as this one here, this brown one here, but they'll be taller than her. And so they're probably around 15 weeks old now. So they're probably about 3 weeks off starting 3-4 weeks off starting to lay. So, but the reason for this box, which is what I'm basically showing you, is what you need to do is basically introduce the chickens to each other. If you don't do this over a couple of weeks, what they can do is bully each other, and chickens can tend to pick on each other if you're not too careful. So what you need to do is build a separate area like this for the chicks that you've been rearing. And what is important is that they can see each other. So they can see each other through the meshes, and they can, sort of get to know each other without actually physically being in contact with each other, so they don't get bullied or anything like that. Also, obviously, what's important when you put them into here, obviously they're not under a lamp anymore, because you've got the full set of feathers, so they don't need to have additional heat from a lamp. But what you also need is a roosting bar, because when they get to this age, you most certainly need one of these. And all it is just an old broom handle, which I've fixed into the bars just at each end. It just needs to be overly robust. It just needs to hold the weight of 2 chickens, which is not really too much. So all that is just a section of broom handle, an old broom handle, which I've cable tied into this mesh, and you can stand on there at night. Something about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches bar. It can be square all round, so they can get on there and perch. So basically, it needs to be like a branch off a tree that they can roost on at night, and that will stop their feet from getting hurt, because they basically need to grab onto something whilst they're asleep. Just like these have got. Obviously, they've got this larger one here. As they get older. But so that's the chickens. That's where we are at the moment. And in the next, probably the next 3 weeks, I'll take this all out, and then they'll basically be let to mingle with each other. At which point they shouldn't pick on each other, and they should be introduced into the brood. There will be a little bit of hen pecking going on for the first day or so, just as they sort of establish the hierarchy in the group. But that's what the chickens look like at the moment. Okay, so whilst the wind's not too bad, I just want to give you a quick update on the Birdhouse Gourds. Now, as you can see, it's quite evident that there's some Birdhouse Gourds actually forming on there, as I knew they would. So these are the male flowers that you get down at the bottom, and then obviously these were the female flowers here. The female flowers are obviously forming a little bit further up. So there's one a little bit earlier, and there's the actual female flower. You can tell the female flower because it'll have this bulbous bit at the back, which is obviously the where the fruit's actually going to form. So whilst the flower's open, so tomorrow when this one's open, what I will do is get one of the male flowers, which are actually closed today, but these are the male flowers, these ones here, and I'll just there's the male flower there. So you just get some of the pollen from in there, and just touch that on the female flower, and then that'll go. But you normally find that the insects will do that job for you. But as you can see, it's grown all the way along, right the way to the end here. I've put, as you know, another one of these on. So what I need to do now is put a third one on, and then trail that along. But it's literally growing about 6 inches a day at the moment. So I've tied all of the branches on, so I'm basically going to be going all the way along. It's grown at such a rate that some of these first leaves that formed are starting to go a little bit grey. But I am putting feed on, so I know it's not a nutritional thing. I just think it's growing that quickly. It's focusing all of its energy on this part, and it's possibly sacrificing these first few leaves that it grew. Now this one is exactly the same. As you can see, some of these leaves have gone a little bit yellow, but all of these new shoots that are forming, as you can see, they're all nice and healthy green. And this one's grown all the way along to the end, along this one. And then what I'm going to do is put another thing on there, some more grill along there, and then I can trail this one along a bit further. But again, on here we are getting some female flowers, as you can see. There's one there in that leaf, and there's one there forming at the top. So the fact that it's grown that far tells me we're going to get a fruit. So what I need to do is make sure that where the female flowers coming from in there, that it's properly anchored to the wall, because obviously where these fruits are forming, like here for example, what I'll make sure is that that's tied in to the back here, because that's obviously going to take the weight of that. And this one here as well, I'm going to tie that in there, so that when these fruits form in the the down here, that there's some string in there that's going to support the weight of that. Now you do tend to get these sort of tendrils here forming, which is that's sort of automatically tied that in there. And this one here, as you can see, that's got tendrils running here and here, so that's going to support it anyway. But just to give it a little bit of extra support, I'm going to put some string in there just to help it along. But that's what the Birdhouse Gourds look like at the moment, along the fence anyway. Just round here, I'll just quickly show the others, which this week they've suddenly decided to take off. So this one here I tied up last night, so as you can see, these a little bit later, but that's growing up to about the 4 foot level now. As you can see, there are male flowers forming on there. I'm expecting female flowers to obviously come from this head here. Just walk along here a little bit. This one's up to here, so this is quite possibly one of the last male flowers. This is obviously attaching itself. I have tied it on just to help it, but I'm hoping that we'll start to get some female flowers on there as well. And these ones down here, this one's got a couple of female flowers on already. There's one there and there's one there. And the one right at the end, there is one here, but that's not doing much at all at the moment. It has grown up, but it's only got male flowers on it. And this end one here again has only got male flowers on it, unless it's developed something today. As you can see, but that's kind of grown up to there. I tied all of these in last night, and I'm hoping these are going to go along the framework with the espalier trees in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so really quick tip, when you're tying raspberry canes up and stuff like that, what you're going to need is plenty of pieces of string that are around, I don't know, 12 inches long or something like that. If you get a piece of wood or a buck or anything like that, rather than you keep having to do it, cutting pieces of string out, if you get the end of the string and then wrap it round the piece of wood like this, we'll just do a few for now. Like that. Now you can use, if you haven't got a piece of wood, you can use a buck or you can use a plant pot even, as long as the radius is what you actually need. Now if you cut the end of the piece of string off like that, now you've just got a reel of string around the piece of wood. If you then put the scissors, let's do it this way, if you put the pieces, so the string's around the piece of wood like that, if you put the scissors in there now and then cut through the string, what you'll end up with is loads of pieces of string which are just the right length for you to tie either the tomatoes or the raspberry canes up or whatever you want. And what you can do is just put them in your pocket and then just pull out one at a time, and then it makes the job a lot quicker. So it's just a quick tip: if you leave loads of pieces of string the same length, wrap it around something, quickly cut it through, and then you're ready to go. Okay, really quick update on the ginger. As you can see, it's growing really well. I've got plenty more little shoots coming through in the middle there, so I've got a lot more shoots than I had last year. and as you can see, the leaves are all starting to open up now. I'm only watering this every couple of days. I don't want to give it too much water, but you know, if the ginger's anything like it was last year, it'll do really well. So that's what the ginger looks like at the moment. The longest one's probably about, I don't know, about 14 inches long, but that's growing really well at the moment. Okay, really quick update on the chilies. As you can see, these are the jalapenos, and they're getting a really good size now. I've still got lots of flowers coming on, and what I am doing is I'm feeding these with high potassium feed. So basically the juice from the comfrey plant, I'm putting those on these a couple of times a week, and that'll encourage the the growth of the chilies, etc. on there. So that's a really good thing to do at this time of the year. Some of the plants are still reasonably small. This one's quite small, but these others have really taken off, and as you can see, there's plenty of flowers and that forming on the top. So there'll be plenty more chilies coming. But these jalapenos, and this one here, as you can see, are doing really well in this position. So they clearly like, they clearly like it on the windowsill. And there's plenty more flowers coming. So I'm expecting another load of chilies to form at the top of the plants. So I hope this episode has been of some use to you. Please don't hesitate to put any comments or questions you got below, and I'll see you in the next episode with Jim's Little Garden.